Hi, S.A.M, an alternative for instructional design. My name is Max Ruth from Max Ruth Training, and I welcome you to this video. Maybe it has happened to you that you want to know what's the best instructional design model to develop life-changing courses like we do. And today we're going to talk about one alternative model that we got to know in a lucky way because we used the most common and most used instructional design model, that is the ADDIE model. So we're going to talk about the ADDIE model and one other model that's a derivation or that was derived from that ADDIE model, and that's the Successive Approximations Model that has 3 different steps, and we're going to talk about each one of those steps. So let's dive in. The ADDIE model is called that because of the letters for the different stages that comprise that model. The A, D, D, I, and E. And the A stands for analysis, the D for design, the second D for development, the I for implementation, and the E for evaluation. And those are the 5 steps that comprise the ADDIE model. First, you analyze the problem that you need to solve with a course, all the background information, everything that you need, who's the audience that you need to focus on. Then you design a first version of the course. After designing that first version with all the information from the previous step or stage, then you develop the course, you develop a first prototype, and you implement it. And after implementation, you evaluate how it works. That's the ADDIE model. But many people think that this model is linear, it has too many steps, it's a little bit complicated. So they developed a different alternative to the ADDIE model, and that's called the S.A.M, or the Successive Approximation Model. And this model has 3 different steps or stages, and the important thing is that this is an iterative model. It works with iterations. That means that it's not a fixed linear model, but it's recursive, and you go back to the first stage and you go back and go back in a cycle until you have a very good product. And let's go to each of the steps or the stages. The first one, the stage 1, is preparation. And in this stage, you research, you gather all the information that you need in order for you to know who's your target audience, what are the pain points of that audience, what are the needs of that audience, and what's the general background that you need to know to develop a course. And that's the stage, the first stage. And the final product of this stage is to have a savvy working base on which to design your first version of a course. And then you go into the second stage, stage 2, is the iterative design. And the important thing, the key word here is iteration, iterative. That means that you go round and round in cycles until you have a very good product. And the first step here is, with the information that you gathered in stage 1, is to design a very good prototype. And then you go into the prototype step, you design a prototype of the course, you test it, and you review it. And after reviewing that prototype, then you go back to the design step and you modify the first prototype and you go round this cycle as many times as you need in order to create a first solid design prototype that then you can take into the next step. But before we go into the next step, I would like to remind you, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. If you like the content, share it, like it, and most of all, let us know what is the instructional design model that you're using. What is your preferred instructional design model? Let us know in the comments so that we can know what are you using. We would love to read your comments. So now let's go to the next step of this model. The third stage is stage 3, iterative development. And once again, here the key word is iterative, because with the prototype, the working prototype that you developed in stage 2, you start developing your course. You start filling out that skeleton that you designed in the previous stage, and you start filling all the blanks with all the materials, all the slides and all the learning materials that you will need in your course. And then you implement. You go into the implementation step. And in that implementation, you are constantly evaluating how the course works, if everything is as it should be, if the students are engaged, if the exercises are correct. And you do this in different development sub-stages, I would call them. You generate an alpha version, and then you develop a beta version, and then you develop a gold version until you have the final, of what you think is the final product, or the best approximation to a final product. And that's what you roll out. That's why you release to the public and to your audience. And this is the Successive Approximation Model, with its 3 steps: preparation, iterative design, and iterative development. And as I was telling you, is an iterative working model in which you go round and round in different cycles until you have a final product. Go into the URL that you're seeing right now on your screen, or that's in the description of this video, and join us for a call in which we can show you the 3 steps that you can use to increase the impact and the income of your courses in 3 simple steps. We really hope this video has been helpful for you. See you in the next one.